Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap, a part of the Rockies Now podcast network. My name is Steven. Right there is my co-host Tom. Tom, hope your Sunday is doing well. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
hmm
Unfortunately, I'm not there yet, but one day I'll get there. But Tom, how did your weekend go?
It's been good. Got a lot of work done around the house, and then of course had a good Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, of course, to your dad, my dad, all the dads out there as well. But it was
Mhm.
enjoyable. I'm also not there yet, but it was all in all, it was a relaxing weekend. Hope you're enjoying your time up. I'm up in the UP.
Yeah, it's been fun. I was telling Tom that the internet hasn't been the greatest because in the last recap we got cut off because my hotspot was having problems and my phone died, and yeah, it was bad. But now we're all good. So again, we're gonna do a smaller recap than usual, maybe about 15 minutes or so. But yeah, just for an update on you guys, just to let you guys know, I'm still on vacation. I'm in the UP, up in Michigan. I should be home. I think we leave here the 24th, and I think I'll be home right around the White Sox series. So when Tom goes to the Rockies and White Sox series, there's a bug flying around me. When Tom goes to those games in Chicago, I should be arriving back home. So um, probably the last couple of days of June, I'll be back home, and then we'll resume all the normal posting, all the normal Rockies recaps, all the good stuff, and then hopefully we get a podcast out soon because I think the last one we did was a few weeks back. So we're going to do that. But to get into tonight's Rockies recap of the series, Game One, the Pirates. I almost said the Phillies. The Pirates won 5-2, and um, it was a bullpen game for Pittsburgh. And I thought, honestly, I really thought that the Rockies had a decent chance of, doing well in the series potentially, especially if Pittsburgh is kind of, I'm not saying running dry on pitching, but of course, Paul Skeens, that was the name to watch out for, right? A lot of people thought he was going to be pitching today, on Sunday afternoon. And that didn't happen, and a lot of us Rockies fans were kind of bummed out. I mean, I was kind of bummed out, but at the same time, no, I was like, thank goodness, because the guy can throw gas, and we know the hype that's going on with him in baseball. So, um, but yeah, it was a bullpen game for Pittsburgh in Game One. They won that game 5-2. Uh, Kind of like what we saw in the last few games on the road trip. The Rockies offense just really didn't get going in Game One. It was just, a lot of. I think the Rockies were was it 2 for 9 in runners in scoring position,
hmm
so that wasn't good. They had plenty of opportunities. It's just they just couldn't score. The pitching for the Rockies I thought was good. Ryan Feltner actually, I think he pitched really well, considering the struggles he's had so far over the last month or so. But yeah, Game One wasn't a bad game. It was just missed opportunities, and then oh my goodness, yesterday's game that was fun. I think a lot of us on Twitter, Rockies Twitter, we all loved that one. I know I did. It was one of those games I was like, oh, please, because Jared Jones has been balling for the Pirates this year, one of the best young arms in baseball. Had a really good ERA. He's been one of the bright spots for the Pirates this year, despite them being under 500. And so I was like, you know what? I'm kind of scared because Jared Jones really did well against us in Pittsburgh. I want to say last month in early May. So I was a little worried, but Ty Block, man, he did great. Had I believe 5 or 6 strikeouts yesterday. Kept the ball on the ground. Rockies had good defensive plays from Amador, Tovar, McMahon, even Trejo at the end of the game. Um, I will say this though, it was toward the end of the game, and I think this kind of uh, hurt the Rockies a little bit. I mean, it didn't hurt them much because they were up by so much. But Nolan Jones, I think you might have saw that play where he dropped the fly ball on the warning track. Now he was approaching the wall, and so maybe sometimes you'll hear your footsteps because again, it's like you're coming up on that wall. You don't want to run into it and cause yourself an injury. And in some ways, I'm kind of glad that he kind of stumbled there a little bit because you don't want to run too hard in that wall because you don't want to get back on the injured list. Um, so yeah, other than that, defense was great yesterday, and of course the offense was amazing. Hunter Goodman, I believe he went 4 for 5. He got a double, single, and 2 home runs to go with that. He was just a triple away from the cycle, and in his second home run, he almost got a triple, or he could have gotten a triple if it would have bounced off the wall. But Hunter Goodman, good game. Um, Even Jay Cave, a day after his scary head injury during batting practice in Game One, he was good. He was a home run away from the cycle. Charlie Blackmon, he's starting to get hot. Yeah, man. I mean, the offense was great. It just overall, yeah, I mean, I think it was. I think it's the most runs the Rockies have scored this year. But overall, the offense was just the bats. They were scorching hot, so that was great. So overall, Game Two was pretty good. And then of course today, the Pirates won 8-2. Not a lot of offense for the Rockies, but Nolan Jones got 3 hits, so he's starting to heat up. So that was good to see.
Now, the story of this series, I look at it as the offense came alive, but then they didn't. But then they kind of shot up and didn't do enough to win Game 1 and 3. Not only to go along with the fact that Nolan Jones getting 3 hits in today's game, the fact that he also got walked 3 times in Game 2, I think, is a huge sign of two things. One, he's seeing the ball well through the strike zone, in and out of the strike zone, and then his swing is starting to come around with getting 3 hits today. So that's something I think, even though this is a series loss, we should take that as a positive. And it is kind of a bummer, even though Hunter Goodman went 4 for 5 in Game 2, he went 0 for 4 today. But again, that happens. You have a multi-hit game hangover, as you could call it. Some guy, I guess you could say. Overall, the starters gave all 3 games gave length. They were pitched over 5 innings. It's just the Pirates. They're one of those teams I look at as kind of rising a little bit. They just have some weak spots at a few positions, such as catcher and maybe also in some of the corner outfield spots. They're a talented team. They just gotta. I mean, look at Skeens, look at Jared Jones, which, by the way, revenge game in Game 2. That was a revenge for us after what he did to us after what he did in Colorado. They're a good team. They're a team that I could see being really good next year, depending what changes they make or what upgrades they make. I mean, they're a team that, of course, doesn't typically dish out a large free agent contracts, but who knows? We'll see. All in all, obviously, we're upset. This is another series loss for the Rockies, but of course, there was positive signs. Like I mentioned, the starting pitching gave you the innings that you would want, and Game 2 was a hell of a game to watch. Sweet 16.
Yeah, Sweet 16. Yeah, and I totally forgot that. I was going to post this on our social medias, but double tacos because you get 7, then you get another 7 for 14. But yeah, Sweet 16 is even better. But yeah, and I think we might have quickly mentioned this. We might not have, but for me, it's not like I'm used to losing. I mean, we are to a sense, but at the same time, though, these aren't losses that are like, oh my goodness, this team sucks, whatever. Like this is to be expected in many ways. This is a rebuilding team. This is a rebuilding year, and we're seeing the young kids play, and we're seeing that, and that's what it's all about. And Michael Toglia, that's another guy I wanted to quickly talk about too before we end tonight. Michael Toglia, ever since he's gotten called up from Albuquerque a little over a week ago, he's been good. He's been hitting, I want to say, above 300 so far. Not to mention one grand slam. Maybe I guess because I kind of got. I got called out for it a week ago when the Rockies were in St. Louis. I think I posted like Toglia hits an inside the park grand slam, which was actually ruled a triple. So in some ways, he does have 2 grand slams this year, but really he has 1. But Toglia, he's been hitting the ball really well, better at bats. He has a better eye on the plate, if that makes sense. He's getting a better look at the ball. His defense has been fantastic at first base. And of course, he'll get some starts in right field. And of course, not to mention, robbing that home run in St. Louis against Matt Carpenter, that was pretty incredible. Michael Toglia, he's been great to watch, and because we've talked about many times that he has struggles at the plate of striking out, and he'll strike out, and that's who he is. Because even if you go back to his days at UCLA before he was drafted, he struck out as well. I mean, he wasn't like a 270, 280 hitter. He was more of a 220, 230, 240 hitter. But the power is there, and we've seen that. And Toglia got a grand slam the opposite way, like in the left field last night. And even Drew Goodman said it today on the broadcast that Toglia didn't get that all the way off the bat. It was more of like a pop up. And yeah, his power is so strong that he was able to easily just get the bat on the ball, and it was a grand slam. And so that was great. So yeah, Toglia has been great. Amador, I know some people are like, oh, we should send him back to, Double A or Triple A. I like Amador where he is right now. I really do. He's not striking out as much. Yesterday he got two robbed base hits. I thought his first knock in the first, I believe it was the first or second inning, or the first three innings. I think it was his first at bat where he had hard contact, hit it toward right field, and then I think Olivares, the right fielder for Pittsburgh, made an incredible catch right at the wall. I initially thought off the bat that was a home run. I'm like, hey, he might have his first career home run here, but it was caught. But Amador, I think he's doing okay. I mean, the guy's only 21, and I know he's hitting under, was it 150 or whatever it is, but he'll be fine. I think just giving him at bats, giving him some experience. Now, when Rogers comes back, of course he'll have to, probably go back down. But I don't know. Part of me said maybe send Trejo down instead. I like Alan Trejo, good defense, but he's not a part of the future plans of this Rockies team. I would like to see Amador, be on the bench, but at the same time, though, Amador does deserve regular at bats. So there's also another part of me that's like, you know what, maybe we should send Amador down eventually once Rogers is ready. But yeah, a bunch of these Rockies young stars that are, they're coming up and they're getting good at bats. They're being consistent at the plate. They have, they're having better approaches at the plate. It's just been really promising to see. And one thing I will mention is that Brenton Doyle, he didn't play last night or today. I think it was I forget what. Do you know what was going on with Brenton Doyle? It was something with his leg. I forget the
I
exact name for it.
I don't know exactly. I can look up exactly what it was.
Yeah,
But just a quick thing.
yeah,
But yeah, I think to comment about Amador, I think once Rogers is ready, they're going to send Amador back to Albuquerque because, like you said, he should get regular at bats. Trejo doesn't need. He is more of a bench delegation at this point. So
Mhm.
I would believe that. And people ask, well, why was he called up? Well, that's because that's how the 40-man set up. He's the only other infielder on the 40-man roster.
Yeah,
Middle
yeah,
infielder. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not sure exactly what the extent of how long Rogers will be out. Doyle was scratched
yeah.
because left patella tendonitis.
Okay, yeah. So
And
I think
quick,
yeah, yeah.
no, so real quick to add to Toga, last 7 games he's slashing 261, 357, and 391 slug. He's got a home run, 6 hits, 4 walks, and only 8 strikeouts and 23 at bats. So that's good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. We'll take that for sure. I mean, the Rockies could definitely use good at bats from him, and Montero. Man, like we're just waiting for him to get hot. But I think I'm starting to agree with you that maybe we should start paying more attention to Hunter Goodman than Montero. Hunter Goodman, yeah, his average is not pretty, but he's younger than Montero is. I think has a lot more potential than Montero. I'm not saying Montero is a wash player or anything like that. No, I mean we talked about it last September when we were doing our podcast about Montero when he had that insane run in September against the Cubs and the Giants at Coors Field. It's just that right now it's not clicking for Montero, and I'm not saying bench him, but I think we need to, after seeing what we saw from Hunter Goodman yesterday, we need to get more looks on Hunter Goodman. I know Goody didn't have a great game today necessarily, but still, Hunter Goodman, man. I mean, he's been great, especially in the times that he's played. I don't think there hasn't been necessarily like, oh, he needs to be sent down or he needs to be on the bench. Hunter Goodman, when he goes out there, he plays his darn best. And I thought he did an excellent job, by the way, catching behind the plate. I think Ty Block commented after the game how great Goodman called, behind the plate with different pitches and everything. And Ty Block, he's not even a regular starter on the mound, and Goodman was just, again, did an excellent job, and I think from what I've heard, a lot of the Rockies pitchers really like Goodman behind the plate. So I'm not saying Goodman's going to be a career backup catcher, but it's kind of nice to have a guy that is emergency, because really the Rockies, I don't believe Drew Romo is on the 40-man roster yet, and um, so yeah, Goody is their guy, and he did a pretty darn good job last night in doing that job, and he was the MVP of the game for the Rockies. So again, happy for Goody, did a great job. But yeah, overall, it was like again, like the Twins series and the Cardinal series, the Rockies are staying competitive. They're trying to fight in these games, even though today they were down by 6 runs, they lost by 6 runs. There was like the Rockies, they scored a run in the ninth. Nolan Jones again, he's starting to warm up, which is much needed for him. Defense again, like I said, could use some work, but there are signs that the Rockies are improving bit by bit. There are signs here that the Rockies are going to get better in the future. It's just that this year is probably going to be another one of those years, like last year. So hang in there, we'll be fine. So next series, the Rockies, I believe it's going to be a 4-game series against the Dodgers starting tomorrow. That's going to be a fun one. Um, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, Tom, and to all those who are listening or watching. I have a gut feeling. Now, I'm probably wrong, but I have a gut feeling the Rockies, they might actually I don't know why, because it's the Rockies. They might actually do something fun in this series. They might. I'm not saying they're going to sweep the Dodgers, but I have a feeling they're gonna make a run for their money in this series. That's just my prediction. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm because I was watching Star Wars on my phone the other night, and I don't know. Maybe it's the Force going through me. I have a premonition in the Force of the Rockies maybe doing something to the Dodgers. I don't know. Well, not to mention Yamamoto just got injured last night. He's going to the IL, so that's something to watch. So I don't think the Rockies will have to worry about facing him in the series, so that's a positive. But anyways, the Rockies will be playing against the Dodgers for 4 games in Colorado, and then after that, the Nationals will be coming to town to play against our Rockies. But Tom, do you know who's pitching Game 1?
Yeah, I'll tell you in just a second. Yeah, and quick comment about
Okay.
Goodman. I guess the fact is to enlighten people on why they didn't make Drew because right now, yeah, Diaz and Stallings are the only true actual position labeled catchers on the Rockies 40-man roster. So luckily we do have Goodman, who was drafted as a catcher but can play other positions. So I guess they're just not ready to, as an organization, to make a 40-man roster move to add Willie MacGyver, Drew Romo, whomever to the 40-man. So it looks like it's going to be Goodman and Stallings for the time being. And good thing Goodman, yeah, he did a good job. But anyway,
Yeah.
so that's just to anybody who has questions about that to address that. So here's your pitching matchups for against the Dodgers. Game 1, pretty good one. You got Cal Quantrill versus James Paxton, longtime veteran. Game 2, you got Austin Gomber against Walker Buehler, who is really struggling. Ooh. And then Game 3, you've got Feltner versus Bo Miller. Sorry, it's a 4 games. Game 4. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Game 4.
Game 4 is tie block versus to be determined for the Dodgers.
Interesting. Yeah. Wait. Maybe Gavin Stone, but I wonder why they put TBD. But maybe Gavin Stone just pitched in the series, whoever they're playing against. So I don't know. Again, like it's not the worst because again, I think Kershaw's still on the IL. Dustin May's still on the IL. Walker Buehler, of course, he's back, but like you said, he's been mediocre to bad so far this year. And I don't know, like because I think a lot of these pitchers, especially a guy like Buehler who can touch close to 100, part of me wonders if like he's trying to lower his velo so he doesn't hurt his elbow. Part of me just feels like it's something along those lines. So, but I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I have a premonition through the Force that the Rockies might have a fun series, but I might be wrong. But you know what? You never know. We're gonna have fun in this series. The only thing I will dislike is all the Dodger fans at Coors Field because I feel like whenever the Dodgers come to town, it's like I'm not gonna say it, but it's very much like a Dodger Stadium vibe to it. I don't know. I don't like the noise of the Dodger fans. I'd rather hear Rockies fans at Coors Field. But anyways, again, it's going to be a fun series. So again, stay tuned to our Rockies Now social media pages for lineups, final templates, all that sort of good stuff. Again, once I get back from vacation, full coverage will be resuming. Again, there are going to be times where I won't be able to post a lineup, and I think I had a question about posting to our story. Simply put, I don't have so my iPad is back in Colorado. Well, my iPad's an old iPad, and I bought a new one for my birthday. And so, anyways, I have an Android phone, and I don't like how Android posts the story because it just looks very weird. So that's why I'm not doing it. So I would if I could, but anyways, again, once I get back home in Colorado in a couple weeks, coverage will resume as normal. Um, but I think that will wrap up tonight's Rockies recap. Again, stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Instagram. Threads, all that good stuff for more Rockies Now content. And once again, thank you all for now 4,100 followers. We're starting to climb up the ranks on Instagram. So again, thank you all so much for that. Tom and I would like to thank you for your support and for your engagement on all of our pages and all that. So thank you so much. But I think that will do it for tonight's Rockies Now recap. We'll talk to you all next week when the Rockies finish the series against the Dodgers. And as always, go Rockies.